any fashion lover, the word Russian means a lot. Russian trends hit the world's best runways routinely. Every 2 or 3 years, the most famous designers appeal to the Russian heritage in creating their collections. Cossack dressing and folk embroidery still strike back in Armani, Cavalli, D&G, Kenzo and Jean-Paul Gaultier. But here, in the motherland of enormous inspiration for the greatest coutures, the word fashion is just reviving its meaning. The transition from Pravda to Prada was rapid. The glitz of the world's glamour capitals started invading Moscow as soon as the Iron Curtain was raised. New Russians, multi-millionaires with poor taste, soon became history. But the craving for everything foreign and super expensive is still a strain of many nouveau riches. So Russian fashion designers are trying to prove that Russian design is value for money, and the whole world will know that they are talented and ambitious enough to go international. But first of all, they just create things to wear. Fashion Week in Moscow. Masterminded as a counterpart to the regular runway shows in Paris, New York, London and Milan in 1994, it was one of the first places where Russian talents could show themselves. But it may be the third time when clothing for real life is showed here. Organizers have focused on pret-a-porter collections only in 2003. For 10 years, it was an haute couture show with nothing common to the clothes you can take from your wardrobe and be ready to go with. Now, it's an understanding that fashion is not just art, it's a big business too. A show by Valentin Yudashkin. For every person in Russia, his name is a synonym with fashion design. He was the first Russian designer who became a member of the French haute couture syndicate, and his clothes are widely popular among performers on the Russian stage. Delicate colors, almost transparent fabrics, and a lot of decorations, especially gold ones. It can be considered as a tribute to the era of original accumulation. It's the name for the crazy money-making time of the 1990s. In contrast, his jeans collection. Democratic and ready-to-wear clothes, almost a plain street fashion. Nothing excessive. A simple and elegant style for young, independent people. And none of the so-called Russian trend. Yudashkin defends internationalism.
Russian fashion is international. Of course, we have a national identity inspired by music and literature. These are our roots. But we produce clothes all over the world. Hong Kong, Italy, France, Los Angeles, anywhere else. So we have an international product. It's an international business. There are lots of perspectives.
But are Russian designers received well on the international market? Anna Lebsak-Klemens, founder and director of the highly respected fashion consulting group, knows everything about the Russian fashion business. Anna calls loud statements of Russian fashion houses about the achievements made abroad nothing more than a PR trick.
These brands, they use Russian stereotyping things, you know? And there is not that many themes which are obvious. They know Roman style, Roman Empire, like something about Russian monarchy, and those are certain things which are being stereotyped about this, like furs or embroidery and things like this. Russian folk, and they call it matryoshka style, you know, Kandinsky, which is constructivism, and Soviet symbols. So those are big four things which are sold great and perfectly.
Alyona Akhmadulina, a designer from St. Petersburg, not only has talent and creativity, but also a strong marketing instinct. At only 26, she is one of Russia's youngest and fastest rising designers. She knows very well how to attract a foreign buyer's interest. If you want folklore, you'll get folklore. Here's the main motto behind her last collection. To go for the premiere show in Paris, she took the essence of the Russian trend and reinvented it. It's not a rude imitation of Russian folk, but a very tender interpretation of peasant motives. Clichés are used as an element of the show. Models wear handicraft masks, for example, the same worn in traditional Russian festivals in villages for centuries. But these stereotypes do not affect the clothes in any way. Soft fabric, artificially worn out, creates an effect of warmth and coziness. So do nostalgic patterns and cuts. It's dignity with a sense of humor.
We wanted buyers and journalists at the Paris show to realize that we are, first of all, a Russian brand. So the main theme for the show was Russian, of course. To make images more recognizable, I've chosen the spirit of traditional masked festivals, and we've received a great press.
Alyona says one secret is to pay equal attention to design, marketing, PR, and sales, and to never forget about any of those components. 80% of Alyona Akhmadulina's clothes are sold abroad. Her list of clients includes buyers from the USA, Italy, France, the Netherlands, Japan, Belgium, and Hong Kong. But Alyona expects that this situation is going to change soon, and her huge production base in St. Petersburg will receive more orders from Russian boutiques.
Russian fashion is gaining popularity among Russians. They're buying more local brands. People start to understand that the trick is not in the Western name, but in the quality and level of design. And this understanding has just appeared, maybe 3 or 4 seasons ago.
But now, some of Alyona's clients don't even realize they are buying Russian clothes. The designer tells us a story about one rich couple. They were buying whole wardrobes in her boutique for 3 seasons in a row, being absolutely certain they were buying from a Western manufacturer. We ask Alyona about the current situation on the local fashion market.
I think that the Russian design community is in a nascent state. Only now new Russian brands have started sprouting. There are lots of them already, so it's quite easy to get lost, but there are no bright, loud names. They'll have to appear in the coming seasons.
Alyona Akhmadulina is definitely not the only person who thinks like that.